Hey, it's Eric. You know, I did not sleep very well last night. Had a sore back, and that's really put a damper on my whole day. And that brings to mind the topic of sleep and why it's really important that you manage to get enough sleep at PBP. So, in my other videos, and there's a link down in the description to all of them, I talk about a couple of topics, time and rest stop management, that are really tied back to the idea of saving enough time while you're out on the course to get a decent amount of sleep. So to give you an example, when I did PBP the first time in 2007, I got a total of maybe 5 hours of sleep, and I finished that ride in 82.5 hours. Now that was also a very rainy year. The weather was terrible. My friend and I were riding on fixed gear bikes, which was slowing us down, but the lack of sleep definitely had an effect on me. I finished that ride feeling just mentally awful. Basically finished, checked in, and then just collapsed on the floor of the gym. So lack of sleep can really affect how you ride. Example number 2, in 2011, didn't get rained on nearly as much. I was riding on a regular bike, but I also got about 14 hours worth of sleep in total, out and back at Ludiac, and then the last night at Morton. And despite getting about 10 hours more sleep, or in other words, 10 hours more time off the bike than in 07, I finished faster. It was under 80 hours. And then again in 2015, once again better weather, once again a regular bike, once again about 15 hours worth of sleep, and as I did in 11, I finished under 80 hours. So getting sleep isn't just a luxury, it's something that is going to help you perform better on the bike. One reason that comes to mind is I have my final qualifying brevet coming up in about 3 weeks. That's my 600K. And in years past when I've done a 600K brevet, I've basically ridden straight through. Maybe half an hour to an hour of just kind of brief nap somewhere during the night on the way back. What I'm planning to do this time is to more replicate what I'm going to do over in PBP, which is I'm going to ride a little more than half of 600, so about 350 kilometers, and I have a hotel room that I've already booked out on the course. I'm going to go there, take a quick shower, which I hope is going to help address any potential chafing issues, and I'm going to get about 4 hours of sleep. So there's been a lot of chatter on the internet here lately, at least in the email list I'm subscribed to, about that topic. You know, is it better to ride straight through? Is it better to rest? And the general consensus is, well, one, it's a very individual thing. Everybody's tolerance for lack of sleep is different. I tolerate it pretty well. I've never had the episode of like falling asleep on the bike or hallucinating or anything like that. But other people are more sensitive. But in general, I think the consensus is that getting sleep is going to help you ride better. So you can ride straight through a 600K, for instance, but you're going to be riding slower toward the end if you don't get any sleep, to where not getting the sleep really doesn't help you at all, because overall your time is going to end up being about the same or maybe even a little longer. So I'm going to try that this time and see what happens. So as I said, I'll have about 350K, get a good sleep, and then do the last 250. And I'm hoping they're going to feel better on that second half than I did on the second half of the other 600s where I didn't get any sleep. So a few other thoughts about sleep. Okay, one is that everybody's ability to sleep is different. For instance, I can sleep almost anywhere. If I'm on a plane for an hour flight, I can be asleep before the plane takes off and then wake up when it hits the ground. I can sleep through almost anything. Many people, though, and you may be one, have a hard time falling asleep if it's noisy or just in general. You're not very good at napping. So keep all this stuff in mind, and remember that unless you want to find a place, say by the side of the road, it's going to be hard to find a quiet spot to sleep at the controls at PBP. If you go to the sleep station at Ludiac, you'll find that room where the sleep is happening is nice and dark, but it can also be quite loud. There are a lot of guys and probably a few gals in there who snore quite loudly, and there are people moving in and out as they're getting up and arriving and so on. So if you're a very light sleeper, if you have a hard time falling asleep, you may have some difficulties there. I've laid down on a stack of mats at Fougere, actually 2 PBPs running, which is kind of a nice, comfortable place to lay. But it's out in the middle of an area where there's a lot of stuff happening on. Not a problem for me, but it may be for you. So keep all this stuff in mind as you're thinking about where to sleep. I like to plan ahead where I'm going to, lay my head down. If you're the kind of rider who will just all of a sudden feel like, I really need to sleep and want to bed down on the side of the road, make sure you're prepared for that. Do you have some way to secure your bicycle? Do you have something to wrap around you to keep yourself warm? All kinds of things to think about, and all related to helping yourself get a reasonable amount of sleep, because it's really going to help you on the ride if you get good sleep, rest, and get back on the bike for the next leg at least somewhat rested and refreshed. So I'm interested in your experiences, so feel free to comment down below. Let us know what your experience is, how you plan to sleep. Always interesting to hear how other people are planning their rides. And look out for more videos. Still more to talk about as PBP gets closer. I think we're within 100 days of starting the event. So the countdown is definitely on. Everyone's finishing up their qualifying series, and it's going to start feeling really close really soon. As always, if you like these videos, I encourage you to subscribe. If you hit that little bell icon down there, you'll get notified when new videos come out. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one, out here on the bike or perhaps in the bike room. And ultimately, really look forward to seeing all you guys out there and gals in France in August for PBP. See you then.